Wow, just 5 days away from the 77th Independence Day of our glorious nation. We can't help but look back on how far we have come since our Independence Day in 1947. Every Independence Day gives us a chance to reflect on the legacy of Bharat. But why stop with 1947? Why not go further behind? Further to the glorious period of Sanatana Bharat.
That's why we, the students of D.A.V boys Mogappair, are here to take you on a stroll through the glorious past of Sanatana Bharat. One where we will find an ideal of Bharat untouched by centuries of strife and subjugation. A nation we once were, and thus we should continuously put an effort to be a Sanatana Bharat.
Bharat. Have you ever wondered what is the meaning of this word? It has a great and awesome meaning, shining with knowledge.
Did you know the word Bharat was coined by Dushyanta Chakravarti's son, Bharata, who ruled the most of Asia? He also named our India as Navina Bharat. Our Bharat is more than a nation. We made prosperous history, starting from the Indus Valley civilization, making us one of the oldest living civilizations ever.
Yes, Bharat has been a land of innovation, discoveries, spirituality, and the apex of man-made and natural wonders. We were a place of great study, a place where science, math, and scriptures played a very vital role in shaping our understanding of the world.
Yes, indeed, our history is the best looking in the four aspects: the influence, architecture, the scientific pursuits, history, and more importantly, our diversity. With a history spanning almost 5,000 years, Bharat is home to some of the most amazing architecture ever.
Come forward and speak.
Did you know that we were the first ever civilization to innovate the idea of the drainage system? With the pioneered advanced methods of architecture, we made many monuments with the shining prosperities and dedication.
Yes, Badri, in architecture, the historical monument that we can marvel at, the Vijayawatana temple in Hampi. In front of the temple stands a stone chariot. It was built in the 16th century by the orders of King Krishnadeva Raya of the Vijayanagara Empire in Dravidian style.
Not just that, UN. Another architecture marvel of India's heritage, the Konark Sun Temple, is situated in the eastern state of Odisha. Konark houses a massive temple dedicated to the sun god. Konark is of two words, Kona and Arka. Kona means angle and Arka means sun, so it becomes angle of the sun when combined. Konark is situated on the northeastern corner of Puri and is dedicated to the sun god.
Yes, Tarun, it is also one of the UNESCO's World Heritage Sites in India. Its location was once on the shores of Bay of Bengal at the mouth of Chandrabhaga River, but the waterline receded over the years. However, back in that day, sailors used the temple as a landmark. European sailors called the temple the Gopalapuram.
Not only that, buddy, the wheels of the chariot tells the time. Each wheel contains 8 spokes, and each spoke represents a praha. A praha denotes 3 hours. So, the 8 spokes represent 24 hours of a day. By watching the shadows of the spokes, one can tell the time. Day or night, the time can be told by seeing the chariot's wheels accurately to the minute.
But wait, Pradeep, these are just two. There are many more. The Thinnai Nataraja temple has carvings of 108 portions from Natya Shastra, a treatise on dance that forms the basis of Bharatanatyam.
Abhinandan, there's more to it. The architecture of Chidambaram is believed to be Chodan and was conceived by the sage Patanjali, the greatest yoga master who lived somewhere near 200 BC. The temple roof, where one can sit and meditate, has 21,600 gold sheets, which represents the number of breaths taken by a human every day. These are connected using exactly 72,000 gold nails, which represent the number of nerves in the human body. These are also known as nadis.
Yes, Pradeep. The temple also represents the connection between our cardiovascular and nervous system. In short, our breaths and nerves are as pure and valuable as gold.
Yes, great information, Hariharan. Our history and culture are most wonderful. The people of ancient Bharat may no longer be with us to tell these stories, but these monuments will speak for them. They speak the rulers who built them. They speak the things they stood for, and mainly Bharat's prosperity.
Yes, Bali, but also the Bharat has a rich culture in landforms too. The Rishyamukha is a chain of mountains beginning at the village of Hampi Grama in the district of Ballari.
I have read about this, Hariharan. According to Varaha Purana, chapter 85, it is mentioned that this mountain chain starts along the bank of river Tungabhadra and gradually reaches the state of Hyderabad.
How do you think this was not possible? Such complex architecture.
Because even we are a land of knowledge, not just architecture. The math and science required to build structures is amazing.
Yes, Mr. Manyan, India is a land of not just scientific knowledge, but also social and spiritual knowledge. This brings us to the second aspect of our history, where we must look at our scriptures.
Scriptures can be spiritual, but they can also be scientific. And what I am about to tell you will blow your mind.
Let me guess, Tarun, you will tell us about our ancient Indian scientist Aryabhatta, who introduced the concept of zero. Come on, I know this already.
There is also a story on it as well.
श्वेतकेतो न्यग्रोधफलम् आनय.
Idam Bhagavan.
अत्र किं पश्यसि?
Anutarani Imani Bijani.
येषु एकं भिन्ति एकं भिन्नं भिन्ति.
Binnam Bhagavan.
अत्र किं पश्यसि?
Nakinchana Bhagavan.
पश्य, अत्र वदबीजेव महान् स्थूलः शाकादिमान् वदः उत्पन्नः सन्तिष्ठति. एवम् अनिम्नः स्थूलं जगत् उद्भवति. हे सौम्य, सः एव आत्मा, तत् एव सत्, तत् त्वम् असि.
A profound phrase, thou art that. Thou art that. Tat Tvam Asi means that the Jiva, the ultimate self, is ultimately identical with the ultimate reality, that is Brahman. The concept of zero, on the other hand, is used for great mathematical calculations in whole numbers, fractions, and decimals. What do you think about this, Vishamanyan?
The concept of zero also dissolves the boundaries between numbers. For example, 0 multiplied by any number is 0. So it dissolves the fact that any number greater than itself also becomes 0. In the same way, it dissolves the boundaries that Jiva and Paramatma are one and the same.
That was great information, but you probably don't know that we have historical evidence of having discovered the Pythagorean theorem before Pythagoras himself.
What?
Yes, Murali, Maharishi Bodhaya Acharya had already referred to it in his book Bodhayana Sulpa Sutra
in temples. He said in the scriptures, Dirgha Chaturasrasyakshnaya Bandhu Rajuhu Parshvamani Diryak Mani Chayat Prithak Bhute Kurutastadubhayam Karoti.
The meaning of the shloka is that when a rope is stretched along the length of a diagonal of a right angle, produces an area equal to the area produced by both the sides. Other rishis have also contributed in the field of mathematics. One such person was Maharishi Bhaskaracharya. He was also an astronomer who made extremely accurate calculations on the heavenly bodies using maths. One of his most important books are Bijaganita, a study on what we today call as algebra.
Yes, Nitin. And for the record, Aryabhatta did not just invent zero, he named the first 10 decimal places and calculated the square roots and cube roots. He was a great astronomer and physicist. Our rishis have calculated the distance between the earth and the moon accurately. We have also discovered many scriptures on the movement of planets, the eclipses, and even on gravity. These are much older than the apple which fell on Newton's head.
Our rishis have also contributed in astronomy as well. Speaking about astronomy, we can find evidences of finding the distance between the earth and the sun in Hanuman Chalisa.
Yes, Nitin. It is mentioned that Yuha Sahasra Yo Janapal Balu Lilyo Tahi Madur Valjana.
According to these lines, the distance between the sun and the earth is 153,600,000 kilometers. According to NASA, the distance is 151,630,000 kilometers. It is almost equal to our Rishi's calculations.
Thorough, as you mentioned earlier, not only in the scriptures, but there were many scientific theories as well. For example, the Rig Veda talks about the speed of light. Maharishi Karan also spoke about the atoms in the Karan Sutras, which blend science and philosophy to explain the Big Bang. We have even made great strides in the field of medicine and biology.
Yes, Yuvan, the Garbha Upanishad is a great example for what you have mentioned. The word Garbha means womb. The Garbha Upanishad, which means esoteric doctrine over the embryo, is one of the minor Upanishads in the modern anthology of 108 Upanishadic texts. It explains the development of fetus during pregnancy. The last verse attributes to the sage Pipalada. The term Garbha also means relating to gestation. So, the text also means doctrine, esoteric doctrine relating to gestation, womb, or fetus.
Yes, Guruji. In Ayurveda, we also have texts or scriptures that are related to skin grafts and reconstructive surgery to change a person's appearance if they are disfigured. Scriptures on the importance of diet and hygiene, and scriptures that talk about antiseptic treatments to prevent infections, all from the 1st century CE, a long time before Western biologists could even understand microbes.
Speaking of microbes, I want to add another point, Vishwamani, that is Maharishi Sushruta wrote a book on Indian medicine and cosmetic surgery. It is called the Sushruta Samhita, and it is the earliest medicine encyclopedia to be ever written. How do you think this is all possible? It feels as if it is a fantasy.
Yes, Aniku, it was all reality. And it was because Bharat was a land of great diversity of thought and study. This encouraged learners from all across the world to come and study. By looking at the scripture, Yukti Kalpataru, a treatise on shipbuilding, we can see how big a role trade played in bringing the diversity of experience and knowledge from far-off places back home.
Ashman, also philosophers and thinkers from various civilizations visited the courts of our kings to share their knowledge and learn from our rishis.
One such example was Megasthenes, a Greek historian who lived in the 4th century BC. He traveled to India and stayed in Chandragupta Maurya's court for almost 5 years, that is from 302 to 298 BC. His book Indica details his experiences in India. He observed India via his accounts, including the geography, administration, religion, and society.
Yes, Satway. Also, Chinese philosopher and thinker Yuan Sang wrote in his book Pilgrim Prince about the political, social, and religious conditions of people in India. He has also visited many places in India, including Kashmir, Punjab, Bodh Gaya, Sarnath, Kapilavastu, and Kushinagar.
Not only that, Mr. Manya, Yuan Sang has also studied in India for 14 years in the Nalanda University during the reign of King Harshavardhana. Al-Biruni, an astronomer, philosopher, mathematician, and anthropologist, came from Persia to India to learn more about Indian knowledge.
These great thinkers came to Bharat because Bharat is the home of the greatest thinkers of all the world. Also, we have made prosperous history, and it is the architecture, history, scientific study, and the diversity which makes us so unique.
Yes, Sayur, I agree with you. But by looking back at our history, we must understand that Bharat defies today's concept of a nation. Modern nations are made of language, religion, race, ethnicity, and maybe ideology. Essentially, it is the sameness of the people which makes a nation. But in this nation, which we have been referred to as Bharat Varsh for thousands of years, we have never defined ourselves by sameness.
You all will wonder what kept us together longer than any other nation on the planet is that essentially we are a land of seekers of truth, understanding, and liberation. In this seeking, we found oneness. And this is what we must aspire to become once again. A place where science is used for the good of the people. A place that pushes us to pursue the talents to the fullest extent. A place that embraces diverse thoughts and opinions. And a place that embraces true diversity of culture and thought.
Yes, India, or perhaps Bharat, has become the true destination for every research scholar pertaining to any field. Even Max Muller, on his essay, said that civilization has rightly said that one must come to India to get solutions for any problem in the field of research.
Let me recite a sloka on only time. It's okay. Let me recite a sloka on a great motherland, Bharat. Bharatam vartate me param sambalam. Bharatam nityameva param priyam. Bharatena asti me jeevanam. Bharataya arpika me akilam chestika.
Thank you, Adi. That was very inspiring. Now, let me sing a poem on a great motherland, Bharat. ये वंदन की धरती है, अभिनंदन की धरती है, ये अर्पण की भूमि है, तर्पण की भूमि है, ये इसकी नदी गंगा है, इसका कंकड़ शंकर है। हम जिएंगे तो भारत के लिए, मरेंगे तो भारत के लिए। मरने के बाद भी हमारे अस्थियों को कोई कान लगाकर सुनेगा तो एक ही आवाज आएगी, भारत माता की जय।
भारत माता की जय।
वंदे भारतम, वंदे भारतम, वंदे भारतम। धन्यवाद। Now, D.A.V boys Mogappair will also start a beautiful song on our Bharat. follow, on how we should be living, how we should do things a little better. Last three satsangs we've been talking about some concepts related to drinking water. Last session it was about turmeric and pepper, how useful it is for our well-being. Today we'll be looking at eating. So how many of us can be without eating? All of us eat, no? Every day we eat, just like how we breathe, we eat every day. So how important is food? Food is not just for hunger but also for our well-being. I'm sure you're all aware, you're reading about it in science. If we have the right food, we don't need to take any medicine, which means food itself is preventive. A lot of diseases, a lot of health issues will not come if we have the right food. And if we have the wrong food, what will happen? What will happen if we have the wrong food? We fall sick. So even sometimes medicines may not work. So that's why we put in there saying if food is right, there is no need of medicine. But if food is wrong, how much ever the dosage keep increasing to some point, there won't be any impact on the body and for the well-being. The well-being we talk about is not just about the physical well-being, not just about health. Sometimes when we have certain type of food, if you actually look back and see, you may get more angry, you may feel more tired, which means it impacts even our mental health. How we think, how we talk to people, everything gets impacted by the food. So when do we eat? So today we'll be looking at what do we eat, when do we eat, how do we eat and breathe. Food itself has a long concept, right? How many of you read Prajna? Have you seen there's one section on living naturally where we keep writing about this? So the team keeps writing about how important all these ways, all these concepts are. You must have read about this also earlier. So when do we eat? When should we eat? When we are hungry? In the morning? In the afternoon?
With the span of 8 hours.
Okay, we want to have a gap of 8 hours. Okay. When we are hungry is actually the right answer. You know, it's not just about, at 8 o'clock I eat again at 12 or 1, I eat again at 9 sometimes. People eat even at 7 or 9. There's a range of this. So it's important we eat at regular intervals. Also, there's sometimes good to have longer fasting. But why do we have to have a gap in between? Digestion to happen. Each food has different timing of digestion. Some food takes longer time. Some food takes shorter time. So we need to give some time. Imagine you're driving a car full day. You're driving some instrument. If you keep it on for the whole day, what happens? After some point, it will conk off. Similarly, our body is like a machine. Each system needs some time for it to digest. So give a gap. Okay, so always, how do we eat our food? Our breakfast has to be moderate. Because the entire night the digestion process has been happening from the dinner. It's had a break. So start the breakfast which is moderate. Go on to a lunch which is quite good because sun is at its peak at that time. Our digestion process is also very active. And dinner should be something that is very light. Why should we have a light dinner?
Because you're sleeping.
We're going to start sleeping. So if you actually see, if you note, when we go out in the evening, how many of us have seen animals or birds eating after the sunset? Very few. We hardly see them actually. Most of them finish eating before the sunset. That is very good. When the sun is out and high, the digestion process is also high. The process of digestion with respect to how it happens, Jataragni inside, everything is high when the sun is at its peak. So it's important that we eat before the sunset. So what time does the sun set? 6:37. So it's better to eat at that early. Have you tried that anything? You tried? Do you feel hungry at 10 o'clock later? Yeah, if you ideally sleep at 9:30, you don't feel. And when it becomes a practice, your body also gets tuned to it. You need that long gap. Okay, so what should we eat? In the morning it's ideal if you have fruits for breakfast or something like we said, moderate breakfast is good. Fruits in empty stomach
kickstarts the digestion process. It gets digested better. All the nutrients from the fruits get absorbed by our body. Fruits is best had alone, not in combination with anything. There's a lot about some combination. Some combination works well. You know, sometimes when you sit alone in the classroom, class is quiet. When 2 or 3 of you are there, what happens? Noise. The teacher will come and say, keep quiet, keep quiet. Exactly the same thing happens in the body. When one food goes in, which has some certain properties and a digestion time, it works well. When you add another food, where the digestion process will not match with this, our system goes for a toss. The impact may be mild, we may not know at that time, but over a long period of time, the impact will be there. We will see about these over the next satsang sessions in detail as well. Today we will briefly see about what we should have and how we should have. Lunch, again, good amount of vegetables. How many of you eat good vegetables in the lunch? At least 2 vegetables, that's very nice. You should thank your parents for giving you healthy food. Put your hands down. And good vegetarian diet which has a combination of proteins, carbohydrates. Can you tell me some food which has good proteins? Dal, paneer, soya bean. Okay, so all that has good protein, carbohydrate, rice, potato, only rice, something else. Sweet potato, bread. Okay, multigrains. All Siddhanyagal that you read about, all the multigrains that you read, millets, all that is very important. You know, those are also carbohydrate. And fat to some extent is important. You know, our body needs everything in some proportion. Ghee. All these together will help our, we'll get the energy. We need energy. Food is what gives us energy to run for the whole day. So it's important we have the right type of food. And some snack in the evening once you get back home. Not the junk food, but some fruits or salad, vegetables, nuts, very important. So we can have those. And for dinner, you actually see, you know, than your lunch, your dinner is a little light. And small amount of vegetables or soup will also help with the digestion process. And at bedtime, if you feel you want to have, you can have a glass of milk which actually facilitates sleep. Some amount of turmeric powder added to milk will facilitate sleep. So we were talking about this digestive fire in the stomach, you know? So there's something called the Jataragni. Today we have the boys talk so much about the scriptures from the Vedas which also talks about digestion, the food that is important. There's Jataragni in the stomach which facilitates the digestion process. That is also a reason why we say give enough gap for it to function. Do not eat if you feel not really hungry. If you feel your previously had food is not digested. We do have that feeling when we eat outside, no? Most often you won't have it when you eat at home. When you had some food outside, you know it's not, you don't feel you're hungry, which means it's taking a longer time to digest. So give some gap. You may want to have something very light or have some soup or some water and then feel a little better and eat later. It's not mandatory that you eat every 3 course of meal. So what's the best posture to eat? Which of these 3? Standing? Sitting on the floor. Yeah, we are also activating our chakras. When we did meditation, we had a posture. That's the best one to sit and sit down, cross-legged. It helps in the blood flow. It activates our muscles. It activates all the enzymes, all the hydrochloric acid, everything which is required for digestion. It opens up the Sushmana Nadi as well, which facilitates the digestion process and free flow of air. So there's a lot of science and Vedic information that's behind what we should do and why it is right. So go back and read if you feel like and understand it a little more better and then follow. It's also important we use our hands to eat. Why should we use our hands? The next one. Because each of our finger has a connect to the Panchamuga, the Panchamaha, you have the fire, water, the earth, the air. We connect to it. And also understand sometimes when we take your soup or something else in spoon, it must have been hot. Feel. It's important we sense, the sensory organs should be activated when we eat. So touch, feel the texture. Your rice will be different, your rasam sadam will be different, your sambar sadam will be different, a vegetable fried rice will be different in texture. Feel that. It's important we feel that, understand what is there and then eat. Eating on banana leaves, if you see during festivals, we do it. If you have a plant at home, it's very much good to eat in the banana leaves. Chew and eat, it's very, very important. Why should we chew?
So that we can break the
Food, yes, it's important to break it. Now, breaking it was similar. Sometimes you must have been talking to somebody or doing something, watching something, and you swallow some. You know it's choking. You feel it's hard on the throat. It's important. We have to chew, make it into a semi-solid, form, consistency, and then it helps in facilitating digestion as well. Without proper chewing, if we eat, it can even lead to choking. It's as fatal as leading to death. So it's very important. Chewing, we have to see how many times we have to chew soft food, 10 to 15 times. Today probably when we eat, look at your friend, how many times your friend is chewing. Or at least introspect yourself and see, do we really chew so many times? Okay, at least 10 to 15, at least 8 to 10. But don't swallow without chewing. It also facilitates our taste bud. Enjoy in eating. Mindfulness is very important. Some things that we should also thank God. We all at school, we all have good practices that we chant Annapati and then we thank the people who are giving us the food, the God who has given us food. It's important we feel thankful and then eat. And what not to do is very, very important. Often we end up having the TV on, the phone on one hand. Very important, not just children, I'm telling even adults, some of us tend to do that at times. We're in a hurry, we want to do something. Eating, it could be 5 or 10 minutes, but please focus on what we are eating. It's very important. We have our full food pipe and the windpipe just next to each other. Sometimes if you've noticed, have you ever had an instance where you felt there was a cough, reflexive cough, your food has come out? Anybody's had that experience? Yes. When that happens, there's a structure called epiglottis which covers your windpipe when you are eating. By mistake, you're not focused on what you're eating, your windpipe may be open, food goes in, the epiglottis will push the food out. See how nice, how our body is, designed by the God. There's a reflexive action and the food comes out. That's good. It's a good sign that your body is functioning. But please focus. When you focus on eating, you will not face this issue. So do not watch TV or phone. Don't talk while eating. Don't eat in a hurry. If you eat in a hurry, you may not chew adequately. So chew and eat. Do not take excessive water. Water is good. Half a glass of water is fine. But taking a lot of water, what will happen? Yeah. The acid alkaline balance, the Jataragni, all this will get diluted. Yeah. And then it will take longer time for you to digest. So do not have lot of water when you are eating. When you chew, automatically it's easy to swallow. Often we end up drinking water because we are in a hurry or we want to swallow the food quickly. If you chew, this is not required. A few signs, if there's indigestion, you feel you're burping often. Remember the 3 B's. You're burping often, you feel bloated, that your stomach is really hard, or you feel a burning sensation here. That's why we also say, take at least 2 to 3 hours before you go to bed after the dinner. Do not sleep immediately after the dinner. What will happen? You feel the acid is coming up. You feel very uncomfortable. You affect your voice, you affect everything, your sleep. So please be mindful about eating. So that's some quick points about eating and how it is best way to follow. Any questions? So, we're running a little late, so shall we break now? We can have any discussions if you have during the breakfast.